Welcome to the third battle between Sakari and Gunspear Freedom. We have Gunspear Freedom here playing as the Bactrians, and he has brought the 5 units of the heavier version of the Bactrian pikemen. So his pikemen are now superior to the Macedonian bronze shields. Had he gone with the lighter phalanx unit, then his troops would have been inferior, but now he has an advantage here in terms of pikemen. In terms of spear infantry, he has 4 units of these Turisroi spears. They are will hold as a good cavalry support, good flank support, flexible infantry. They have medium javelins, so they do sting a little bit better than what the enemy these light javelins will do. As support, the Bactrians have gotten 3 units of assault infantry. Now these are the lighter version of the Bactrian, Greco-Bactrian assault infantry. So they have a little bit less armor, but they do have the same advantage. They have armor-piercing weapons, a good charge, bonus versus elephants, and bonus versus cavalry. So very flexible, but the downside with these men is that they lack javelins and have a low armor. So the Greek infantry or Turosi swordsmen would be able to damage up these men. But if these men get into melee with the Greek infantry, these men will wreak havoc on them. You see 2 units of Greco-Bactrian peltas, and these men have 8 ammunition and armor piercing. So after they've hurled their javelins, they will be able to damage up and attack infantry from the flank and help to rout them. The Bactrians general is a noble cavalry unit. These are the camel riders of the Bactrians. They have 7 speed and a scare ability against horses and bows. These Sogdian axemen are very aggressive infantry. They have a very high attack, and there are 300 men of them. So these men can damage up definitely. These Greek infantry of the Macedonians will suffer, but right now we're focusing on the Bactrians. He has this horse archer, which is they have axes, so let the enemy shock cavalry or whatever engage something else, and then you can charge them in the flank and do a lot of damage. They have bows, and then you of course have the Indian elephants. These are a very threatening, especially to the Macedonians. Let's take a look at the Macedonian army now. The Sakari brought the late version of the Macedonian general. He has the javelin version of it. He also has a bonus versus infantry. So he can definitely charge in and help the Macedonian support infantry win its fights against the infantry. He has 5 units of these bronze shield pikes, and they would normally be better, but he can still hold the line for quite a while. Whilst the downside for the Macedonians is that they have inferior support infantry compared to the Bactrians. He has 2 of these Turosi spears, and they are good for protecting flank and supporting cavalry and all that. But these Greek infantry are very lightly armored. They lack. They are inferior in every way to the Greco assault infantry. The only plus side is that they have javelins here. In a campaign, they would be from the 3rd class population, and that would save your warrior class. So they do have peltas here supporting them, but it's going also. But overall, the Macedonian support infantry is inferior. Let's see here. The Macedonians have 2 units of Greek javelin cavalry. These are very fast cavalry and hurl javelins. And avoid and catch up to these Sogdian camel riders, for example. Or this general. If this general gets isolated or gets into a bad fight, these Greek javelin cavalry can hold him down, and whilst you get in supporting units. The Macedonians have 2 royal squadrons here. These are quite expensive cavalry. and they have 7, but they have 7 speed. So technically they can catch up to these Sogdian riders if the Bactrian player is not paying attention. What is going to be worrying for the Macedonians is the lack of anti-elephants, as these Greek infantry are very light and they lack bonus versus elephants. So he lacks something in that department. And these Greco assault infantry, though they don't just need to pin down the enemy, and they will butcher the Greek infantry in a fight. They have armor piercing, so they can deal with the Turresproi better. Turresproi spears will beat the Greek infantry in a fight. Most infantry will. Anyway, let's get this battle started. The Gunspear Freedom only really needs to pin down these bronze pikes and then smash the supporting infantry. Bactria, this support infantry of the Greek infantry is very lightly armored, so horse archers on the side here would have been able to do a lot of damage to this Greek infantry before contact. This late version of the Macedonian bodyguard is very expensive, and this cavalry is also very expensive. They can't form diamond formation, so the Salian cavalry would have been like 600 denarii cheaper. So it could have made you you could have upgraded your supporting infantry. The Bactrian Terosi spears are moving up first to take the javelins of these men, because once they're out of javelins, the Macedonians are going to have a very hard time countering the elephants of the Bactrians. The Macedonians do have, however, these two units of Agrianian axemen, and these men do have bonus versus elephants, and these are his best chance to deal with the pesky elephants. That's a gap here that can be exploited by the Bactrians. Let's see, he's gonna hurl at the Bactrians. He's gonna hit the shielded side of the Macedonians. The Bactrians are shooting with their bows, but however, the Greek javelin cavalry is now hurling their javelins here. And these Bactrian horse archers are suffering as a result. Yeah, the Bactrian assault infantry is charging these Greek infantry whilst they wanted to hurl their javelins. So the Greek infantry got caught out here by the Bactrian assault infantry. The Bactrian horse archers however, are suffering as a result of these javelins. However, these javelins should have been used against the elephants. The Macedonian cavalry is all here trying to counter the elephants. These Sogdians are now given free rein here. Charge in here, pin these men down. These men do not have bonus versus cavalry. They are here to scare off the cavalry with their javelins. However, the Bactrians only need to charge in here and pin them down. The Peltasts are being run down by the Indian elephants. If they couldn't hurl all their javelins against the elephants here, so that's good for them. This Bactrian Peltasts are hurling against these Greek infantry. This Bactrian Indian elephants can just keep moving here. However, the Macedonian general is coming in here. He should have been targeting these elephants for sure, not hurling at these Bactrian assault infantry. However, the Bactrian assault infantry is, however, slaughtering these Macedonian Greek infantry. The Peltasts of the Macedonians are trying to get a flanking opportunity upon these Bactrian pikemen. Bactrian general is charging in here. However, this can trap him. He suffered quite a lot of damage here to all these javelins. So this is not ideal for the Bactrians. The Macedonian general charges in here against the elephants. These royal squadrons are not moving. These should definitely charge in here against the Greco infantry if they're not going to try to catch these camel riders whilst they're off guard. Because these men are just taking damage unnecessarily. And this doesn't take much to rout these Greek infantry. The Bactrian pikemen are not in phalanx formation. And this will make it so that Macedonian pikemen are going to do better than they would have done otherwise. Sogdian camel riders are definitely just hurting these this cavalry. These Agrianians need to charge in here. Greek infantry are suffering. The Turosproi have entered combat with them. If they have javelins left, yes, hurl at these Sogdian riders. However, you hurl at these assault infantry. This assault infantry has a better charge. So, yeah, the Macedonians are doing well. That they try to get hammer anvils going in here. But they also need to stop these cavalry units. These elephants have gone berserk, so well done for the Macedonians to be able to do that. But you need to charge into these supporting infantry of the Bactrians. These Sogdian axemen of the Bactrians are wreaking havoc in the infantry line of the Macedonians. Doesn't may look like it, but okay, they have 237 kills here. So well done on the Sogdian axemen. These Bactrian Macedonian pikemen are looking the wrong way also. But that's hard to see in melee fray. The assault infantry is now charging into the rear of the Macedonian pikemen here. This is going to demoralize them. These Greek javelin cavalry must keep going out. You have your axes here, so these men are doing decent-ish. But your bronze pikes are now suffering. The Bactrians are behind the infantry lines with their cavalry. There's not much to prevent the hammer and anvil here. The royal squadrons are taking damage. They're being assaulted by the assault infantry of the Bactrians. These Bactrians have bonus versus cavalry. And these Sogdians are getting a very well used because they have been firing with their bows non-stop. And they have a scare ability, these camel riders. So now when the enemy cavalry is demoralized, they are more easily routed. And these cavalry is wavering. Both of them are. And one unit routed here. And the other unit routed also. So the Macedonians lost their heavy cavalry now. And their javelin cavalry has been routed. And this is a great danger for the Macedonians because their support infantry are overall inferior to the Bactrians. This general has only 6 speed, so he's slower than these camel riders. That will mean that as he tries to escape, he's gonna take damage from these camel riders because he's not fighting back. Let's see, he did pop us intimidate on this Bactrian pike unit, so he did kill this off. He needs to send in the Agrianians against this unit. He needs to turn the Agrianians to fight these elephants. This is his best chance to deal with it. He needs to somehow create a shield for his general. He needs to try to get this general behind his lines and clear out the enemy. The elephants are now charging in against the general. The general has been badly decimated. Bactrians have lost some of their phalanx units, but they're not shattered. The Sogdian camel riders don't care if they hit their own elephants. They will just like, whatever. So the Macedonian general here has been routed. bronze pikes are routing. These Greek infantry are getting butchered by the spear infantry of the Bactrians. The Sogdian axemen have been coming back. They were shattering bronze pike unit. These are the heroes. They've only lost 8 men and killed 319 men. So very well done here. Macedonian infantry is routing now. They are being attacked from all sides. There's not much room, and these Sogdians still have bows. Oh, they're charging in now. But the bronze pikemen are being very demoralized. The Sogdians are coming in here with their axes in the rear of the Macedonian phalanx, and now the army losses are going to cost. Will make the victory for the Bactrians. So good game to both players. Was definitely a risk bringing this, but again, this general is very expensive for the Macedonians, and you brought these infantry would not be able to cut it against the elephants. The Greek javelin cavalry could have been used against the elephants. But let's take a look at the custom battle here. Something like this would have been cheaper. It would have given you more options against cavalry and elephants. These Tyrosi swordsmen have 3 javelins and are a little bit better than the Greek infantry. So you would have been given a little bit of best of both worlds. These royal pikemen would have butchered the Bactrian support infantry. They also have a bonus versus elephants and cavalry. So it would have been a little bit harder for the Bactrians to, if you have clear superiority. These Tyrosi spears are very flexible and have bonus versus cavalry and elephants. The white shields could have been on the side where you see where the elephants are. And yeah, just hold up the enemy, hurl your javelins. These Thessalians, they have the same speed as the camel riders. Put them in diamond formation here, and you would get an even better boner versus cavalry, and you get faster. So the Sogdian camel riders would not have been able to escape, and that was your main problem. You let the Sogdian camel riders be behind your lines, just weaken up those sacred squadrons. You would have, this army would have been a disadvantage with the Bactrian peltasts, for sure. Like, you only have 1 unit of your own. But it would have given you like something that he will have to take into consideration. And you have 3 javelins here with the Tyrosi swordsmen, so you can just hurl and weaken up something, preferably from their unshielded side. Let's just make a quick to give the Bactrians something here. Let's give them a hoplite general. Just love to bully the hoplites. Yeah, same thing, same philosophy mainly, because all these factions playing are Hellenistic, so they fight in a similar fashion. Keep these Tyrosi swordsmen so you shoot on the side of whatever you want to hit. Keep the white shield infantry maybe in the center for start until you know where the enemy is. This general will have saved you money. The Thessalian cavalry in a diamond formation would have got an 8 speed, and they have a bit more armor than the Sarisophoroi. And then you just be where you see. And then now you have your Agrianians also, so the Peltas units could be here. So you can shoot the pikemen, for example, or get the elephants. Now these royal pikemen, you could have gotten them together. For example, you see, okay, the enemy pikemen are there, or I mean the elephants are there, or you just keep them safe for starts. Maybe behind your line or something. And then move up, pin the enemy, defensive on this side where you see the elephants. Try to defend yourself against the elephants. Hurl this light javelins on the camel riders or horse archers if you're able to, or just weaken up, or maybe you were able to hurl at the elephants also with these men, but they're giving you a bit more firepower. Just as much firepower here as possible, and maybe having this. So if the elephants charge in, you're facing, maybe you're protecting your Sterusi swordsmen, because these elephants are likely to keep moving, right? You want to keep moving your elephants, otherwise you get pinned, and this white shield infantry could then finish off the elephants. Had the elephants been finished off, the Thessalian cavalry would have more easily be able to catch the camel riders, right? Then you have mobility. And the Bactrian horse noble cavalry would have been inferior to this Hiera. And then you would still be able to pin down the enemy. These royal pikemen would have melted the enemy assault infantry. And then you have a big advantage to flank around. So essentially I think that this would have been a better, best of both worlds. Yeah, it cost you to have the late version of the cavalry and elite cavalry, because your infantry were more easily demoralized and routed, the supporting infantry, so you just left with less options to get a flanking opportunity. Thank you for watching this. Bye.